Hey ladies, it's Jess from Stark Skincare here. I want to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day. Woo! Women are awesome. We seriously are. I was just with my sister-in-law who has a 5-day-old baby, and we were reminiscing about how amazing giving birth is and how incredibly tough women are, that this is something that we go through and it's like, oh yeah, it's normal. You know, people have 5-6 kids and they give birth, and it's incredible. If you're a mom, then you know how incredibly tough you are. If you're going to be a mom, you are so amazing. If you aren't going to have children, that's cool too. But wow, just that our bodies are designed to do this, just we are so amazingly built. So I wanted to come here, tell you guys, have a great International Women's Day and to celebrate yourself. And I was thinking about the way that women don't celebrate themselves is by, of course, focusing on our flaws. Perfectionism is a theme that you're going to hear me talk about a lot. Perfectionism is the ism that my husband and I have been dealing with for years, and it's fascinating, and it's a rampant problem, and it's definitely something that affects more people and more in your life than you probably even realize. So I will definitely be talking a lot about that. And in fact, me having a YouTube channel now is proof that I am really getting over my perfectionism, because I'm actually camera shy. I stutter and I mix up my words and I say a lot and I, have a horsey throat, I guess, sometimes. And it's scary for me. It's really, really scary being on YouTube. But I just got over it because I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel for Stark, and I was waiting for the perfect time, the perfect equipment. And you know what? I have upgraded my equipment. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not filming from my iPhone anymore. I got a $40 Logitech and I'm borrowing my husband's really good podcast mic that he uses. It's a Yeti. And so we're sharing that, and I'm all in, So this is really, for me, I'm really proud, because it definitely shows that I've gotten over a big chunk of my perfectionism. And so I was thinking about what are little ways that we can celebrate our imperfect, flawed selves and, not see these things as flaws anymore. This past year, I actually gained 20 pounds since stopping breastfeeding and going to Europe and drinking wine again. I've definitely, I've put on 20 pounds, especially, and I live in the suburbs now. So I drive everywhere. Whenever I walk, it's I'm going for a hike, but it's not like when I was living in the city and I was walking everywhere. So anyways, I've gained weight, and that's hard. It's hard as a woman whenever you gain some pounds and you don't feel good and your clothes doesn't fit right. And I look for a lot of affirmation from my husband, who, of course, he tells me I still look good and he tells me he's still attracted to me. But, it doesn't really change anything, because it's for me mentally, I have to make a shift. I have to be taking action, right? But I don't know if you're like me, and I know a lot of women are, we do tend to obsess and dwell on these things. And my husband said, I wonder how productive and I wonder how creative you, Jess, could be if you just stopped obsessing over your flaws. He's like, I don't care about these flaws. He's like, it's all on you. It's on you. It's for you that you want to change. You're the one telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you're not thin enough, pretty enough, whatever. And he's like, how creative, what would you create if your brain wasn't, half filled with these horrible thoughts about yourself? And it's so true. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I'm not the only person like this. And I've tried to be so conscious of these things. And what really hurts is that there's so many women that aren't conscious of this, that aren't conscious of the messages that we're being fed. They're not conscious of how constantly feeling like you're not measuring up is sort of a way that the patriarchy keeps you down, man. So instead, let's start a really good habit of celebrating our flaws. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite physical flaws that I have. Its name is Kitty. Don't get scared, it's not what you think. But I do have to take off part of my shirt. So this is my big mole named Kitty, and I've had this mole since I was a little kid. And every time I look at it, it just sort of, it's like a familiar landscape, you know, like this looks like my arm to me. It's funny, like it's like my face may change, but it feels like my arm has never changed. And I love Kitty because, you know, like I have been self-conscious about it. I've had people say like, oh, it's weird, like you're in skincare, like you should get that thing removed. But I like it, it's my mole. And my doctor noticed it and she said, oh, wow, that's a great mole. Can I take a close look at it? I'm like, oh yes, please, like look at my mole. And she goes, oh, it's really hairy. And I said, yep, my mole is quite hairy. And she goes, that's a great sign. That means that's a very healthy mole and it's very unlikely to become cancerous ever. So I was so happy. I'm like, this is a great mole, you guys. Kitty is an amazing mole. So I love that flaw. I think it's a great flaw. So I'd love to hear if you've got a flaw that maybe you could start celebrating. I mean, these are the little silly baby steps that can actually give you a cognitive shift about yourself. If we can start, you know, having more sense of humor, laughing at ourselves, not like at ourselves, with ourselves, loving and accepting our flaws, it's a much healthier place to be and will definitely help your creativity and your productivity. So it's win-win, right? Okay, so let me know what flaws you can start celebrating, and let me know if you've celebrated International Women's Day today, every day, all the days. Go girls.